Oddball Show features content intended for mature audiences. If you'd like to view a content warning before listening, please check out the episode description. The views put forth by our hosts and our guest reflect the speaker's opinions and not the official stance of Oddball Foundation. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoy the show.
Hey everybody, this is Jason Wright and I'm with Chad Parento, and this is the week that was, a little portion of Oddball Show where we go over the week that was at Oddball Magazine. So it's early, it's Monday, so we're looking at March 20th, but we're gonna go back in time, Chad. Yeah. We're gonna go back in time. I wish we had like a song like you got something? You got anything?
What do you mean?
Like kind of like the year 2000, but like back in time to the moon.
7 days ago, sir. I don't know.
7 days ago, sir. All right. So let's start off with our buddy Jeffrey Fallon. By the way, I don't know if you have noticed, on Oddball Magazine, we put on the last Jeffrey Fallon interview with Chad and I that we did for it was like a special kind of week that was / Oddball Show interview with Jeffrey Fallon. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with that. Chad, what were your thoughts on that Jeffrey Fallon interview?
It was a lot of fun, and we lost our only fan because once he was part of the show, he was no longer just a listener. So we lost our one listener for this podcast episode.
So if there's any trolls on the show, maybe we should invite them. We should invite the trolls on the show next.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know who else our listeners are. Trolls. Trolls and Jeffrey. Jeffrey, thanks for being on the show. If you want to check out that show, you can check it out at YouTube. You can check it out at Oddball Magazine, and you can check it out on Apple Music and all the other podcast platforms. So, okay, what happened with the Secrets of Skinny People last week? They're doing the podcast.
Okay. What happened this week, but we can't talk about that because reasons. And of course, if Random Robot says, "Well, frankly, I'm not surprised you're getting those types of questions from the listeners when your podcast is all tied up." Wait. Oh, that explains a very awkward conversation I had with one of our sponsors. Random Robot is breaking. I can't give you any previews because I think that would be a violation of time traveling law. We're only going to that next week, but I think Random Robot is this close to cracking.
Robert Random Robot.
About how that's going to happen, but we can't talk about that yet. Except I think it's going to happen.
I gotta just compliment this. This is pretty good, artistic. I like it. It's a very well done comic strip this week.
He's going slowly back to the multiple panel system, which makes me think that they're going to break free or Random Robot's going to crack.
I love the fact that the robot is back in the picture because he is such a great character. He really is. He's a great character.
We had a character until like very recently, but in the recent months, but it works out really well.
Do you think we had any influence on now all of a sudden they have a podcast?
I am not sure. We'll have to find out if Jeffrey branches out and makes his own podcast.
Jeffrey should make his own podcast. What if he like had his voice and then like he had like co-partner, either like his own.
Except he's just going to talk about his show, and then he's going to send us a cease and desist. I can't wait. I can't wait. This is how friendships and
this is it. This is a tale. This is a story as old as time, Chad. This is the American tale. This is everything. This is American Tale. This is Christmas Carol. This is
why I'm always encapsulated in darkness. Let's keep moving on.
This is Pinocchio. This is Dumbo. This is every. I just had Domino's this afternoon. It's the evening, so any reason why I'm acting like this, blame the D.
Okay.
For Domino's. That's not much to say. Blame the D. Anyway,
Gotta
all
sit
right.
and nod before you kill me.
She who laughs last. Chad, what's going on with this one?
This is a holiday, like this is an actual holiday. Um Saint Columban, and it's basically for I guess it's for Midwesterners who can't celebrate St. Patrick's proper like other people. I actually thought she was kidding about this. That's but I actually introduced this on Twitter as is there beer? It's sold. It's a but St. Columban is I guess it's a worshiping community since 1859. It's a parish, but it's also Columbanus was an Irish missionary notable for founding a number of monasteries after 590 in the new Frankish and Lombard kingdoms, most notably present day France and Bobbio Alley in present day Italy. So this is a real thing.
Wow.
So this is less of a joke or a parody of St. Patrick's, which I thought it was, but it's actually more of a real thing. It's more journalistic than satire. In
Well
fact,
done. You know, I was just
St.
thinking.
Columban is the patron saint of St. Columban. Okay, is the patron saint of motorcyclists.
Are you kidding me?
That's what it says on Google, looking up information. But
what? I thought saints were made like a long time ago. I thought they were. Is there a saint for Twitter? Is there a saint for TikTok?
I don't know. Maybe the original motorcycles were like what you'd see in the Flintstones with 2 feet propelling them. I don't know, but
Yeah.
that's an interesting one too. I'll have to ask the highway poet friends.
Oh yeah.
Don't sue if they're a real thing.
That just brought me back to Joe Gouveia. He was one of the original highway poets. Rest in peace, Joe. There's your saint right there. Saint Joe Gouveia of the highway poets.
There you are.
Yeah.
But
hey,
yes, this is real.
I can't believe it's real, first of all, but I wanted to just put this out there into the ether. Ann Scove, why don't you come on our podcast, join us for the week that was, and let's talk about your work, because I've never met you. I don't even know what Ann Scove looks like, talks like, anything. Which maybe she'll come on the show and we can talk to her about her work and what she's about, you know. So
we'll see what happens. She's currently applying for a couple of things I'm actually helping her write letters for, but hopefully in the next few updates we'll know what we'll figure out what's happening.
Well, why don't you send her a message there?
I will.
You know? It'd be great to have her on the podcast just so we could learn more about, because she has some very interesting comic strips. She's a very interesting artist.
She reminds me of Roz Chast of the New Yorker, and in her technique and delivery.
So all right, so you've mentioned that a couple times, and like back in the day in season 6, we used to be like, Chad is talking about this, or like Tim Gager is talking about this, whatever, and we would actually like do a soundbite. So without us doing that, who is that person?
She is an autobiographical humorous cartoonist in the New Yorker. I think she's never done like a graphic novel, but she does have collections. I think you can even look her up in roschast.com.
Not Roz Das, not Roz Das. That's a different thing. You do
Roz
that.
Chast.
You in a meditation
and has a very dry sense of humor. I think one of our most recent books is can't we talk about something more pleasant, or you can only yell at me for one thing at a time. It's very, and sometimes she writes about her own life. Sometimes she just writes about the mundane things. She's also very similar to Lydia Barry, who's a cartoonist and graphic novelist as well. She does good work and is worth reading whenever you get a chance.
Any relation to Todd Barry? I really like Todd Barry.
Not Lydia Barry with Tom Barry. No, I don't believe so.
Very funny. You don't think they would mix Lydia Barry and Todd Barry?
Probably not. Lydia Barry was more in the Matt Groening camp of humor, and Matt Groening actually recommended Lydia Barry for numerous things. She was an alternative cartoonist before she started doing books.
Yeah, but I feel like Todd Barry's an alternative comic, so they probably
true.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe they could come with a podcast called the Barry Squared.
Get on it, Lydia. Okay.
Lydia, Todd, connect with each other.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
And the hell with Lydia, the hell with Ann Scove, apparently. But anyway,
we're just talking about Ann Scove. That message still rings true. Come on the podcast. Let's talk about your work. But we have to figure out why you recommended her to that New York Times artist and comic strip person. By the way, someone critiqued my website and said, "Oh, I didn't know you had a sci-fi website." Basically, they were saying like they looked at
They looked at Grogu.
he looked at the site. He's like, "So you have a sci-fi website?" And I was like, "No, no, I don't. No, it's absolutely not a sci-fi website." He goes, "When you look at the, when you look at it, it's like this makes sense. But then you scroll down, it's like, what the hell is going on here in this magazine?" He's like, "I would click here, and get the fuck off this magazine." So I understand everyone else who does that as well.
Yeah.
All right. So what's this one? This must have been a St. Patrick's Day thing here.
It's almost like a half editorial, half like short fiction from Shannon O'Connor. She's supplied poetry, short fiction, short nonfiction, as well as photography. And the Irish Grogu is her. Much Ado About St. Patrick's Day. A little something to introduce us into the boisterous the boisterous St. Patrick's Day parade, saying something I would have agreed with until yesterday. It's not safe to be in Boston during the St. Patrick's Day parade, and which is kind of funny because once that got in print, I went to the St. Patrick's Day parade yesterday, and it was actually the most tame parade I've ever seen.
Yeah, did Dropkick Murphys play?
Someone played Dropkick Murphys on
that's rough.
dancing. And the guy, friend of mine who was there, started yelling, looked at a guy with a white beard dressed up as a leprechaun. He starts yelling, "Whitey Bulger! Whitey Bulger! Whitey Bulger!" That's on my TikTok now.
Oh, man. Go to Chad Prince's TikTok. How do you get to your TikTok, Chad?
Just look up my name, and I have TikTok links on my website as well as on my blog. It's just look up Chad Poet for Hire. I'm there.
All right.
It's kind of scary.
My St. Patrick's Day was rough. I got a stomach bug, and it was it wasn't like a drinking stomach bug. It was my daughter's daycare had the stomach bug, and if I laugh, if you make me laugh, Chad, which I don't know if you will, if you do, oh, there we go. It actually hurts to laugh because I puked so violently on Friday. It was rough. It was a rough night. Anyway, so it wasn't a St. Patrick's Day rough night like probably everyone else had. It was a rough night because of a stomach bug, which is not great. So anyway, this piece talks about James Joyce, Yeats, soda bread, beef stew, corned beef, and cabbage, not just alcohol.
Yes.
Have you read Dubliners? Have you read Dubliners?
By James Joyce? Yes, I believe I have.
You have, yeah? Did you get it?
What do you mean, did I get it?
Did you understand Dubliners?
Oh yeah, but I think for the most part, it's not Ulysses, so it's not.
Did you ever read Ulysses?
I read Portrait of the Artist of the Young Man, that's for sure. I never read Ulysses, I gotta say.
Yeah, I feel like Ulysses is like the DSM-5, it's like the biology never read that book, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'd like to see someone who's read Ulysses and Gravity's Rainbow and have a discussion with them and be like, yeah, so you got it, right? And they're like, yeah, totally. I totally understood it. Just like I understood every word that what's his name? Burroughs said in what was it? What was that one? Soft
You talking about Naked Lunch?
Well, Naked Lunch, no, but doesn't he do cut up poems and it just went all over the place?
Probably.
Yeah, he did. All right, so we got our friend Susan Isla Tepper, who does she have a book out? Does she have a new book?
She has a book called The Office, or it's a novel that was published in basically short fiction spurts, and the very first installment, or first two installments, I believe, were published in Oddball Magazine back during the pandemic. So it's basically about the work life in the pandemic.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Work life for you in the pandemic was tough. Like I was at home, but you were a frontliner, man. You were in it.
I mean, not as deep as most people, but deep enough, as deep as I wanted to be.
I feel like Dunkin' Donuts got on it like a week into the pandemic. They were like, we need coffee, people. So am I right? I'm not wrong here.
I don't think you're right. I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah. So anyway, Glenn Bowie did the photography for this one. This is a nice piece. Black and white photography. really cool statue of an angel. Could be Saint Columban. I'm not sure. Saint Marie Columban. This is nice though. It's nice. I like it. Where do you think he got this picture? I always wonder where he gets his artwork.
Probably some random area in like the off Boston towns like Revere or someplace like that. It's really
Yeah.
nice. This is basically another Ukraine commentary, a poem, Four
Oh,
Ways to String. A boy lit a match and noticed the glint like a fallen star in the tree line, a sighting. The miracle of ages come to the bombed out street. And that's as much as I'll say here because it is a short poem. I don't want to give it all away, but and it's also not the last poem that we're going to be doing like this. We're doing a busy week of politics at Oddball Magazine, and this week and a week from now, we're back on we're back on
in the week that was.
yes, exactly. It's March 13th, so we can't talk about March 20th, but you'll see some symmetry between Susan's piece and the piece that runs on March 20th. That will run on March 20th in the year 2023. Your turn. Your turn, Dave.
I feel like it would be cool to have some timely submissions about like, hey, like the bank's crashing, and I don't know, Stormy Daniels is back in the news.
We haven't had much of that. It would be nice.
Some timely submissions going. Who's writing about this new stuff? I mean, that cloud was so last month. Did anyone even write about the cloud?
I think it seems like people have given up on catching up. They're waiting to see if Trump gets arrested tomorrow.
Yeah, can we write about this? I mean, can we get some timely submissions in, please?
I'm hoping. I'm really hoping.
I'm going to do another call for timely submissions right now. So if you're listening to this podcast, Jeffrey, draw some art. No, but honestly, if you are a poet listening to this podcast and you're like, hey, what the hell's the Oddball Show? And I've never listened to this before, but wow, this is really great. Oddball Magazine. Cool. We are looking for timely submissions for what's going on in the world right now. If you don't know right now, the banks are kind of messed up. Stormy Daniels is back in the news with Trump. There was a cloud in the sky a month ago. Some other stuff's going on too, right? Like
there you go.
A lot of stuff. Celtics are kind of in a slump right now. Bruins are doing well. That's the scope of my news. All right, moving on. And also, Chad, so I was thinking about how I was gonna fix my flooring downstairs during my flood, and I found out that Tyga bought this was on my Amazon Echo, because that's how important the news is. It was Tyga bought a $80,000 necklace for Avril Lavigne, and I'm scraping together $1,000 to fix my flooded basement. That sounds like wealth disparity, in my opinion. But anyway, pennies for the poet. Pennies for the poet.
There we go.
All right.
Fair change for Ripple. Okay, let's have you
change.
Let's have you stop procrastinating and get to your poem.
Ill. So I wrote this literally because I was ill and I had to write a poem for Chad. I still have to write a series of poems for Chad.
Or you will have to write a series of poems for Chad before March 20th ends.
Yeah, because I wrote you like one poem, and then
you wrote ill and sick. Those are like the two things.
Yeah. It wasn't. Oh wait. Oh,
I think you even tried to sound different. You wrote ill. You wrote ill originally like a British person. You wrote eel, EEL. I don't know.
Yeah. So okay. So let me explain this one. All right, because now ill, if you look at it, it's Roman numerals. It's 3, right? So yep. 3, 1, 2, 3. So I woke up today and felt 3. I felt 3 because I am 3. I've always been 3. Ever since I was a kid, I've been 3. Today I feel 3, but I've always been 3. So let me tell you what it means to be 3. First, there is to be 3, and then to be ill. Sometimes in the number, and sometimes it's the weather. What does this mean? It always gets better. So, and then, or you can read it like this. I woke up today and felt ill. I felt ill because I am ill. I have always been ill. Ever since I was a kid, I've been ill. Today I feel ill, but I've always been ill. So let me tell you what it means to be ill. First, there is to be ill and then to be ill. Sometimes I'm the number and sometimes it's the weather. What does this mean? It always gets better. So that's what that means. So I was trying to write it like a 3. And I was like, I guess I'll be creative. So that's that one. Let's move on to a squirrel on a tree. I bet you Chad took this picture. Nope, Edward S. Galt did. Okay.
And this originally was for another poem from a few weeks back, or about a month back, and we ended up not running it for that particular poem, but because Ed gave it to us too late, I'm like, I'm sure we'll find use for it. And sure enough, a month later, someone else produces another poem with a squirrel in it. It's squirrel poems are a thing now, apparently.
I mean, there's probably squirrel poems on the internet. There's probably like a squirrel Reddit. Definitely a squirrel Reddit, and there's probably a squirrel poem Reddit. Anyway, photography by Edward S. Galt. I'll read this one.
And the poet is Julie A.
Like
Dixon.
you have the energy to read more than a paragraph. Where I had Domino's, so it's like the superfood of podcasters. All right, Birdseed AA. Acrobatic attitude by his tail hangs upside down, daringly dangles from an oak tree precariously above the ground. Already arrested, bird feeder, pole slick and oiled, straight ascent thwarted. Tricky humans, his first attempt was foiled. Attempted adjustment up a tree feeder in sight below, studies a new trajectory, balances on shaky branch, although, and I'll be like Chad, and I'll just leave it there because it goes on. And
do I really want people to like just hear all the poems and not visit our website? We need the fucking clicks, dude.
Yeah, we need the clicks.
Jesus.
Hashtag we need the clicks.
Yes.
So Julie A. Dixon advocates for captive circus and zoo elephants. Has 2 rescued feral cats and crochets cat mats for shelter cats. She's addicted to audiobooks, Netflix, and writing YA fiction, flash fiction, and especially poetry. From scribbled notes on envelopes to iPhone notepad to the keyboard frenzy at 4 a.m., she's always writing about bullying, memories, humor, animals, and nature. The fact that she writes about bullying, I want to hear more. Just send us more stuff, Julie, because I want to know.
She does.
I want to hear more stuff about bullying, especially because it pertains to mental health, in my opinion, and I think it's a catalyst for a lot of trauma. So Edward S. Galt is a poet and fine art photographer. He lives at Mosaic Commons, a co-housing community in Berlin, Massachusetts. I don't even know where Berlin, Massachusetts is. Is that Western Mass?
It's near the Bolton Stowe. It's in the Bolton Stowe area.
Oh, yeah. Well, I like Ed's stuff. Yeah, he's great. Squirrels on Reddit. Squirrels? Oh wait, yeah. Is this Ira Joel Haber?
Joel Haber came back.
Yeah, you're back, baby. Look at this. I love his art so much.
I know. I'm making a concerted effort to get him included because it's very hard. I'm actually making him decide on what art to send us for particular pieces. And
dude, this is a fascinating piece.
For this particular Wednesday, we had a series of poems. If you want to scroll down a little,
I got to look at this. This is great. This is like an abstract or a Rorschach.
But it also gave an impression of the inside of a person's body. And given the trio of poems by Cleo Kidd, it's with particularly the end poem, if you want to scroll down a little bit more.
This one talks about blood.
Yeah, and of course the baby poem. So with those being with him, he sent us a bunch. But with the poem, with the art piece, it looked like the insides of a person's body. I thought that resonated the most with this series of poems.
You remember that person who reached out to us a while back about a column? And he remember that guy?
He never got back to us. I know that.
He'd be interesting to it was a prose column, but I mean,
yes,
it'd be interesting to talk to him.
He was a former intern, wasn't he?
No, that was another James.
Okay.
I'm forgetting his James Morris. I don't want to say. I don't know. I forgot his name, but he did send us some interesting stuff. I think that but the reason why I thought of this was because of the Lost Baby poem. I don't know. I feel like it's It's an interesting one. No, the reason why I thought of it is because he also sent us multiple stuff, and this person, Cleo. So Cleo Kid sends us a lot of stuff. Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well,
Quote
she
in
sent us
Hyde
these three
Park.
pieces. Oh, she sent us these three pieces, and I don't think she sent us anything follow up, but hopefully that will change.
Do you know Cleo Kid?
I do not. This is a fresh find.
No, she's a they're a
And
poet in
she's a
Hyde
Boston
Park.
and she's a Massachusetts area poet.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's also very exciting.
Previously published by Gray and Ghost Press, and soon to be by Grub Street.
Mhm.
You ever get with Grub Street? You ever do anything with Grub Street?
I know people who are Grove Street instructors like Laura Kiesel. I've never been able to connect with them myself.
I have never connected with Grove Street. No.
Hmm.
And then Ira Joel is the Brooklyn sculptor. Have you ever seen any of his sculptures? I don't think I've ever seen any of his
We've
sculptures.
published one or two of them, but we've never we published like the photos of one or two of them.
Yeah.
They're interesting. They're interesting 3D sculpt, like 3D boxes. It's an interest. They're interesting montages of just like everything. It's
Yeah.
I would definitely love to do more, and I actually have. I think I predict in the future that in the week to come, we'll actually be publishing an actual collage artist as part of our contributors for Oddball. It'll be a brand new person we haven't seen yet.
You know what would be a good idea to add to our submission guidelines
Mhm.
that you might be featured in the week that was if you get published. Because literally, like, we're talking about a lot of people who probably don't even know about this podcast. So yeah, they'd have a clue maybe to subscribe. I don't know. But anyway, I like this piece of Ira's. This is one of my favorite pieces of his. Last week we had the one with the leaves. I think one of my favorite pieces of his was very long time ago, but this might be up there as one of my favorite pieces of his. This is really a cool. I don't know if it was what is this paint? Is this
I think it's mixed media on paper. It's
I love it. Awesome. Check out Ira Joel Haber if you're in Brooklyn. If you can find him.
Check out his Instagram.
And check out his Instagram. His Instagram's great. All right, James Van Loy, the one, the only 476. It's all one things. So, I Ching 36. I throw darkening of the light with no changing lines, so stuck in this rote roll I just go around. Great blister on my second toe. Still no other shoe to be found until the television starts talking to itself. The rain is falling, this deluge that isn't going away. I'm doing my very own Christian yoga, and it's like Kali the mouth has become the deep consciousness cave of bellowing four winds that issue from Zitzum Zazen, the place of the living awareness that will allow us the simple grace, knowing what we don't have to do. This world's burning away the trash, and controlled burn completely rash. Well, that turned dark at the end there.
That's a poem you don't necessarily want to meditate to.
No.
No. I can only imagine what his poem will be in the future. I have some idea, but
you might have an idea.
Again, it'll break the rules. It'll break the rules of time travel, Marty.
You gotta be careful, Marty. Yeah, it's gonna be catastrophic.
God forbid we give the secrets of the future, and there's one person who listens to this podcast who gives a rat's fuck. Come on.
Oh man,
the impression is slightly less difficult to do than the Rick impression. Come on, Marty. Anyway, all right.
You remember when you did the 1940s thing with Jeffrey? I laughed so hard on that one.
Oh God! Wait, are we going ahead in the future or are we going behind? Oh wait,
no, that's behind in the future because
yes. Oh yes, we just published. I don't know where we are in the time stream now anymore.
Right.
We published on this past Thursday or this Thursday. I don't know where we are in the time stream.
News from the front.
Yes, news from the front. The Skinny People interview finally gets published. Oddball Week that was loses its only fucking listener.
The listener comes on the podcast and then never comes on the listens again.
Chat's not sending emails. Why won't you be our friend?
You don't answer, you don't call, you don't write.
Call me, I love you. Call me, I love you. Here's
Call me, I love you.
This is sort of sculpture with animal parts of it. I cut apart and dissected in the backyard. I'm totally fine. I'm not obsessed. I create my own random robot through the people who drift through my town.
I make them
I never
robotic,
make it
if
out of
you
my
know what I
basement.
mean.
I'm just kidding. I don't have a basement.
I store them in my refrigerator.
There you go.
Oh, damn it. Oh man, that went dark. That went as dark as James Van Looy's poem. That was
But seriously, wherever we are in the time stream, when the podcast comes out, please watch it. The podcast is out. Please watch it.
yeah, the podcast is available on YouTube. In fact, do you think this will come through if I do this? Let's see. Can you hear that, Chad?
Oh my God, we're a podcast listening to the podcast. I think I'm going to have to disconnect in a second. No, wait, no. Yeah.
Look at, there's a disclaimer now.
Yes.
And not the official.
Necessary.
We can barely hear it, unfortunately. Oh God, I forgot about this. I forgot about all these seats. I haven't really listened to the podcast yet. I never listened to anything after I published it.
Yeah, I know people like that. Not me. I have to edit these things.
Look at this ass wipe in the shadows. All right, let's move on. Let's move on.
Did you put Vaseline on your fucking on your camera lens? Jesus Christ!
Exactly.
Clean your lens. Hey Jeffrey, how's it going, buddy? All right.
I don't think he's gonna talk to you.
I know, right? Wouldn't it be weird if he's like, "Hey guys, are you in the future?" Whoa! All right.
I'm ready to see my future self. Please stop doing this. You're embarrassing yourself. Please.
There's no such thing as embarrassing.
Put a ceiling light in your home. Put a ceiling light in your home.
This is like a big Zoom call with like everybody. This is like just having a Zoom call with like Chad and everyone else who listens to this podcast.
There you go.
All right, Janet Cormier, Bamboozle No More. What's happening here?
I thought you were going to read it again, Domino.
No, Domino is Domino's
finally getting tired.
You can read it, Chad.
Okay. I'll need you to scroll. Saturday morning, rain falls. Too early to move. As usual, lots to do. But the words don't know better. They arrive when they arrive, daring you to put them down. This is how it is. A commitment from childhood to make sense of random arrangements, words that disrupt a not-so-sound sleep. As always, you accept the challenge. Now, write. It's like this poem came in the past to talk to your future self on the 20th to get those fucking poems in tonight. It's I do like Janet's writing poems.
I'm gonna try. I mean, I got energy. I'm gonna try and record a podcast of the 12-ish minute podcast, which we're gonna talk about lobotomies. So that's great. We're talking about lobotomies.
Oh, now it's your favorite part of the show. It's your favorite part of the podcast.
It's my favorite. Oh, I love the 12. Have you checked out the 12-ish minute podcast? I think it's great. I think
I'm talking about the favorite part of this podcast is coming up once you click that.
So Chad has been Chad. It was like you were sleepwalking through that poem. You're like, Saturday morning rain falls.
I think I wrote I think I wrote the appropriate tone.
As usual, it's like you're reading it walking upstairs. Saturday morning rain falls. Too early to move. As usual, lost it now. Let's move on. But I'm a tab. All right, wise words. Bruce Wise. All right, so he starts off with a haiku again.
Yes.
And he starts off with another haiku.
And at least I read the poems, you coward.
No, I know. You have to edit the poems. I just comment on them. In fact, he emailed us and said he listened to the podcast, and I thanked him for that. Did you get that email?
Oh, yeah, he actually let us know that he's. Oh yeah, our listener is Bruce Wise. Bruce Wise, now you're officially a member of the podcast.
Yeah,
too.
now you're officially a member.
We're just gonna basically reach out to all our listeners, have them on, and just like repel them.
That's probably the way to get a listenership, right? You listen, come on our podcast and talk about how you listen to us.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. When she went to Hangzhou.
What's your favorite one to read? Come on. Behind the lotus.
I'm looking. I dropped that picture. That's great. Behind the marinated one. Oh, I might have to just read that one. A U-boat of the cold North Sea. That one's really good. Long. I'll probably have to read this coffee poem. Beethoven counted out 60.
There you
That's the one
go.
I read actually. When I was, because I actually scroll down every time Bruce sends them to me. I look at them.
Oh yeah.
On Friday. I always check out the poems that you know. Oh yeah, the Casino Royale one. I thought that one was cool. Oh,
Little
he's
James
shouting out
Bond.
Ask Jake John, the guy from
Yes.
WordPress who's always liking us, right?
Yes. He's apparently our biggest. He's apparently our biggest fan
He's
and a
definitely our biggest fan. I don't know
a
how
future
he knows us.
podcast guest.
Who is Ask Jake John? Because he likes all of our posts.
I don't know, but now I feel like he's been found out. He's not going to like us anymore. He's got to just he's got to go. He's going to go.
These guys are creeps. Notice
Yes.
who likes their post. Because you have to have like a WordPress. Okay, here's in truth. A lot of people have WordPress accounts with like major followings, and then they slum it over to our podcast with like
There you go.
they give us likes every once in a while. But you know, it's because we're antisocial on WordPress. We don't meet anybody on WordPress. Chad, do you have any friends on WordPress? Just me.
Just you, I think. That and Gmail router of the North of Oxford group. Their page, their North of Oxford online magazine, I believe, is all WordPress as well.
So the reason why we don't have that many likes, other than our content and our overall disposition and everything about us, is the fact that WordPress, you have to have a WordPress account to actually comment on our
Yes.
words. That's fucking crazy. That's like, you know what I mean? That's like having a Facebook account that's only like a premium Facebook account to like Chad's posts. You have to pay $2.
Couple bucks. What's it gonna? Yeah,
Couple bucks to you have to have a Patreon to like Chad's posts. By the way, Chad has a Patreon. Chad, what's your Patreon?
Look up Chad Parento. Look up Parento, Poet for Hire on Patreon. You'll find it. I have it linked on my website, chadparentopoetforhire.com.
Check that out. That is a very good website. Okay, we're gonna read this one. Vulture Capitalist by Bradley Sukew. Apollo Global Management Incorporated and Blackstone Incorporated were seen over arid sand. It seemed that they were circling around an empty tank. In that bare valley filled with silicon, their stares were blank. This is the cactus land, the dead land other souls forsake. These scavengers clean up the messes managers create. Oh, we can thank them for their greed, these bald naturalists who come to clean up the debris. Vulture capitalists.
God.
Bruises.
That could be a song, you know, who come to clean up the debris. Vulture capitalists. You know, I think Bruce Wise is secretly making a musical.
Yeah. Can you imagine? It'd be like different. I would love to see an animated, all the different animated characters of
I think
Bruce
the animator
Wise.
would have a heart attack and die animating all of Bruce Wise's personalities, trying to
I
figure
know
out
someone who could do that. I know someone who could actually animate all those. I forgot his name though. You know the guy that you know that guy from Out of the Blue. Yeah, that he was a nice guy. He was an animator.
Oh God, I know exactly who you're talking about, and I can't remember either.
You know what I'm talking about. Okay.
That man was a genius. Yes.
That man was a genius. He went by Captain Domino.
This is a deep cut. No one's gonna know. No one's gonna know what we're talking about.
Know that one. No one's gonna know that one. All right.
And there is one more left.
Oh yeah, I saw this. This is awesome artwork here.
The Pride is coming back.
Rebecca Dietrich,
who it's a very small poem, but I did like the dichotomy between the poem, the shortness of the poem in terms of like closeness, and the body imagery from JC Alfier, who we have
love this
from, and some of it's a little not NSFW, but I'm hoping we can edge it in. I can sneak it by Jason. I mean, oh hi Jason, but
We've
If we
let
do
some
it back to
things
back with,
slide.
if we do it back to back with Bo Wallach, I'll get
Will
fired.
Bolak,
But,
yeah, no. Will Bolak is the guy who sends us all the
Bill
news. Will
Wallach,
Wallach
Bill
is the guy who
Wallach.
sends us the stuff that gets accepted. There's Will Bolak, he's the one who sends all the nudes. There's
Yeah,
Bill Wallach,
it's
he's the one
Bill.
who accepts. Will
Yes,
Bolak.
Will Ballsack. Yes, there we go. Thank you. You've how can you mangle a man's name?
I did that on purpose because, like, who would send as potential, things that have
Potential?
potential. Yeah, that's Dr. D talking.
Oh my God,
It's
you're
Dr.
making it worse
Domino's
now.
talking.
Let's talk about the potential abstract citations of William Bolak and
William Bolak and the phallic mastery of his photography.
you're starting to sound like Santino Marella from Monday Night Raw. You have a big mouth, John Cena. I'm going to shut it for you.
So I like this one. Poem by Rebecca Dietrich. This is really good.
Let's have you
great
read
way
this
to end. Great way to end the week that was at Oddball Magazine. Let's just read her bio because let's read these bios. Rebecca Dietrich is a writer, photographer, and genocide scholar from New Jersey. Her debut chapbook, Scholar of the Arts and in Humanities, Finishing Line Press 2023, will be published November of 2023. Rebecca's poetry has been featured in publications by Plumwood Mountain Journal, Making Waves, a West Michigan Review, and Black Spot Books. She holds a BA in psychology with a minor in Holocaust and Genocide Studies from Stockton University. Rebecca is currently studying for her MA in Genocide Prevention and Human Security at Keene State College. Rebecca is an active member of the Native American and Indigenous Studies Association and the International Association of Genocide Scholars.
I'm glad she elaborated that much because anytime I think of genocide studies, I'm thinking, is that new science for or against? Is it for genocide? Because I think of the Nick Sandmans and the Kyle Rittenhouses of the world, and a pro-genocide class would probably be like what they're studying. If Kyle doesn't go into nursing, why wouldn't he want to? Still, but
tact, bro, tact. I was trying to not make any genocidal jokes, but you took the cake on that one. So good job.
But I do want to read more.
Good job, Papagino.
I'm just glad that she elaborated it's for genocide prevention and awareness. Although I think Nick Sandman and Kyle Rittenhouse are aware of genocide, they just like to roll with that. But
this was a dark podcast. Dark.
This was a very dark podcast.
Dark podcast.
I am exhausted, and I salute Rebecca's work in all seriousness. And I hope.
Good job, Chad. You could have just read the bio. You didn't have to be like, oh, genocide. Oh, that's kind of fun.
You've been accusing me of sleepwalking through this thing the whole fucking time. So if you really want me to pull out my A material or what passes as my A material, then stand back, okay? You want me to really be in the shadows? Here we go. Bill, here. Here's that crappy light you got me. Here we go. Here we go. Totally done with the shadows. Here, well, come on. Here we go. Here, you want more shadow?
Oh God, get it up there. Oh, that got weird.
Come on. Come on. You want to get in the shadows? You want to
get out of here? Get out of here!
Come on.
Oh my God!
Come on.
Keep it on.
Can you see what I'm doing? Yeah, come on.
All right. JCF's most recent book, The Shadow Field, published by Louisiana's Literature.
Let's see how dark we can go. Come on.
The Shadow Field was published by Louisiana's Literature Press, 2020. Journal credits: Notre Dame Review, Penn Review, Southern Poetry Review, and Vassar Review. They are founder and co-editor of Blue Horse Press. All right, Chad.
Come on.
Let me go to bed, Chad.
Have a good night.
This has been the week that was with Jason Wright and Chad Brento, a part of Oddball Show. If you like what we're doing or don't like what we're doing, please don't leave us a review that you don't like what we're doing, because this is all funny, I think, in some regard. Or maybe not. Chad just threatened to take all his clothes off. That is a threat in itself. I don't know if you didn't see that on the podcast, but that was crazy. Anyway, this has been the week that was. It was a great week at Oddball Magazine. Thank you for everyone who was on the show. We appreciate everyone that sends their work to Oddball Magazine. We have a blast reading your stuff. We appreciate what you do. I'll talk to you real soon. See you later.